Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello! Good afternoon sa lahat ng teachers, sa lahat ng estudyante at parents nila na kasama ko ngayong hapon dito sa ating online tutorial care of ETUlay for the subject Philippine Contemporary Arts in the Regions. There you go. So I am your tutor for this afternoon, Tutor Mary Grace from Quezon Science High School, SDO, Quezon Province. Okay, so last week we had a discussion about a different topic. We had a discussion about the elements and principle of contemporary arts, but this time around we'll be talking about contemporary art forms based on the elements and principles. Basically, we're going to get up close and personal with different contemporary art forms here in our country. So for this week, we are going to refer to the module coming from the Division of Cagayan de Oro Schools. Thank you very much for lending us this module. And our milk for this week is for you to be able to analyze contemporary art forms based on the elements and principles. There you go. Specifically, the objectives of this tutorial class is for you to evaluate contemporary art forms based on the elements and principles, identify the elements and principles of contemporary art, understand how contemporary artists use the elements of art to convey ideas, values, and emotions, and create an integrated artwork that demonstrates the interrelationship between the arts and the elements. There you go. So I hope at the end of this online tutorial, you'll be able to do all of these things. Maybe not within the entire 40 minutes, but probably right after. It will be a very great help for you, okay, to be able to do this. So again, previously, we learned about the elements and principles of contemporary arts. And here they are. We learned about appropriation, performance, space, hybridity, and technology. Okay, so for this tutorial, okay, we're going to have a game before we proceed to our lesson. Okay, so familiar ba kayo sa laro na Guess the Emoji? Alright, so in our chat box, sana merong mag-reply kung sila ay familiar sa game na ito. Okay, so by the way, good afternoon And thank you for being with us in this online tutorial. Ma'am Arian May Pangilinan from Prudencia D. Fule Memorial National High School. Sir Mark Platon, good afternoon. And Sir Ariel Mendoza, thank you very much for being with us. So the instructions for this mini game is for you to guess the titles of the featured art pieces by using the set of emojis as your clues. Yes, I have prepared different sets, three sets to be exact, three sets of emojis that will give you a clue, okay, for you to be able to guess the title of the art pieces featured in this part of our lesson. Let's go. Are you ready? All right. Let's see. You can type in your answers in our chat box. For every guess the emoji set, you are going to have 5 seconds to type in your answer. But of course, I'll be very lenient with the time limit. All right. So this is our first set of emoji. There you go. So you have here a hand pointing to a wide smiling face. And I think the third emoji is ROFL, rolling on the floor laughing emoji, and an applause emoji. Okay, so you have 5 seconds to guess the title of this art piece. There you go. With that, good afternoon, Ma'am Christine Joy Zamora, Ma'am February Avancena Nalamog from MLGRMS, and good afternoon, Ma'am Corazon Acabo. Good afternoon, Ma'am Weng, watching from Davao del Norte Division, Duhali Central Elementary School. This is your final clue for this emoji, for this art piece. This is actually the art piece, but you have to guess the title. Do you have any idea? I'm going to give you last 3 seconds to type in your answers. 3, 2, 1. All right. This is actually called comedian. Okay? And comedian is an art piece that is literally just bananas. There are bananas because there are three of them na naka-duct tape lang sa isang wall sa isang museum in Miami. Okay, so, but you know what? This banana was sold 3 times at Art Basel Miami for $120,000 to $150,000 each time. The first two sold for $120K, and I believe the last one was sold for $150K. Kaya lang sadly, dahil masyado siya naging popular, okay, like the one, the painting of Mona Lisa, it had to be removed from the museum. So there you go. That's our first art piece featured in our Guess the Emoji activity. This is comedian. Here's a picture of its actual museum spot in Miami. There you go. That's comedian for you. Let's move on to the next one. Are you ready? Okay, this is the second set of emojis. There you go. So you have there the first one is a dump truck. You have garbage and a face slightly green because as if to puke, and of course a rat. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a mouse or a rat. I just chose it. Okay, so you have 5 seconds to answer that. While waiting, let me say good afternoon to Ma'am Carzona Cabo from Amantay Elementary School, Nasipit Northwest District, Agusan del Norte Division. Good afternoon, Ma'am Mary Ann Obedoza. Good afternoon, Ma'am Lynette Mays de la Rosa Ignacio from the Division of Puerto Princesa Inagawan Elementary School. Okay, so do you have an answer for this one? I'm going to give you the final clue. There you go. It's a bit creepy, right? Thousands and thousands, hundreds and hundreds of dolls, broken dolls. What do you think is the title of this art piece? This is actually an art installation. Last 3 seconds to guess. We have here answers from Ma'am Corazon, garbage. Trashon from Rafaela Irish Harry. Good afternoon, Ella. That's one of the students of Quezon Science High School. Thank you for attending the online tutorial class. And good afternoon, Sir PJ, Maestra PJ Polia from Rosario National High School, SDO Cavite. The answer, okay, the title of this art piece, art installation to be exact, is Payatas. It's an art installation by our very own artist, Oscar Villamil. And you know what's really amazing about this artist is that he's obsessed with collecting thrown away materials. Okay? And he will create an artistic piece out of these thrown away materials. And this one in particular is called payatas. So it consisted of thousands of thrown away, or thousands pala. Let me stand corrected. Thrown away dolls, okay, collected from the giant garbage dump in Payatas there in Quezon City. So no wonder it's called Payatas. All right. So how is your score so far? Did you have one or two correct answers? Well, let's see if you can get the next one. Are you ready? Let's have the last set of emoji. Oh, by the way, this is the actual art installation called Payatas. It's a big room wherein William's installation in the Singapore Art Museum was dimly lit, and the viewer can walk inside, and at the very end of the wall of the room is a wall where the dolls are there, and those sticks, poles sticking out on the other end are broken doll heads. Okay, there you go. That's Oscar Villamel's Payatas. Third set of emojis before I forget. Okay, are you ready? Let's have the third one. Okay, so we only have two emojis in this set. Okay, one consisting of two hands. Okay, palm facing up, palm facing up, and face, bearded man. Okay, so you have 5 seconds to guess the title of this next art structure. Okay, there you go. That's another clue. Okay, 5 seconds starts now. While waiting, let me say good afternoon to Ma'am Sheila May. Good afternoon, watching from New Canaan, IS Alabel 1 District Division of Sarangani. Good afternoon, Ma'am Vanessa Valenova Balasoto, watching from SDO Laguna. Good afternoon, Miss Mary Joy Banal from DOST. Thank you for watching this online tutorial. Okay, do you have an answer? I'm going to give you the final clue. There you go. That is really a giveaway, guys. So I hope you can guess. Okay, I hope you can guess what is the title of this art structure. Okay. Okay, good afternoon, Ashley Ferrer, again from Quezon Science High School. Thank you for being with me today in this online tutorial. Okay, so we have answers from our viewers. Okay, so Ma'am Mary Joy said Kamay ni Jesus. Let's see if you are correct. Do you have the same answer? Okay, this is actually Kamay ni Jesus, which is located in Lucban, Quezon. It is also known as Via Dolorosa Grotto. It is a 50-foot statue of Ascending Christ, and its sculptor is Bernardo Bernie Caber of Black Nazarene Enterprise. Okay, this has become a tourist spot in Lucban, Quezon, especially during Visita Iglesias. Okay, so thank you very much. Ma'am Vanessa Balasoto got it correctly also. Okay, good afternoon, Sir Mark Platon. Good afternoon, Sir John Dale Evangelista Manandi. Thank you very much. Moving on. Okay, so art after modern. What do you mean by this? This is directly related to our subject. Of course, we're all about arts, pero art after modern simply explains the characteristic or the kind of art that we will see, we will observe, and we will experience in contemporary Philippine arts. Okay, so during the end of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century, art historians and critics together they noticed that artists, okay, they work in different ways, okay, and they want to share ideas that interest them. So this has taken their attention so much. That's why they considered calling this art after modern, or we can call it postmodern. So these historians and critics began describing this era as postmodern. So post meaning after, and then the term modern. So with that, gave birth to the term postmodernism. So it's an art school or school of thought in the field of arts, wherein the artists are using different or varied ways. Okay, they have diverse materials wherein they're going to express social issues, moral dilemmas, things like that in their art pieces. All right. So in postmodernism, any art piece, okay, any art piece has become more ambiguous and contradictory. Meaning, it became ambiguous kasi um, it has developed, I mean, it has exposed itself to several interpretations. Hindi isa lang. Okay, but several, not just dual, but different interpretations to the point that it has become subjective. Okay, it has become subjective to the person who is viewing the art piece. Okay, and of course it has also become contradictory, meaning because it um, it tried to debunk, it tried to go away from the traditional art forms that we were taught with, especially kung classical yan or modernism. But in postmodernism, art has become contradictory and ambiguous. Okay, there you go. So these contemporary artists or postmodern artists produce different art pieces. But what their art is all about is one thing. Okay, how we interpret their pieces of art is another thing. So we have to be able to identify or distinguish, okay, these two sets of happenings. For example, okay, we have here, this is a local art installation in the Esplanade, if I'm not mistaken. This is called Giant Dandelions. All right. So in this piece of art installation, the contemporary artists who produced this art form or this artwork seem to have become more interested in engaging the viewers conceptually through ideas and issues. Paano? Bakit naging ganon? Okay, first and foremost, notice that this art form is made up of plastic bottles. Yes, yung mismong dandelion-shaped flower, okay, na merong LED light inside it, they are made up of plastic bottles. And when we talk about plastic bottles, syempre dyan tayo papasok sa pagmamahal sa environment, yung 3 Rs, making use of these waste materials, okay, into something aesthetic. Okay, that will somehow, okay, diminish our problem with plastic pollution. Okay, so there is an important issue being brought about by this art. It's not just an art form, it's not just a view na pwede mong i-appreciate, na pwede mong gamitin as selfie background, di ba? But it has a deeper meaning. Okay? That's for our interpretation. Okay? But for the artist, it's exactly that, the same also. Kasi very economic yung kanyang pagkakagamit ng materials dito sa giant dandelions. Alright? So there you go. Another example would be this art form. Okay? This OMG cries by a Filipino artist again. Okay, so this is given to us by, I'm sorry, this is given to us by a Filipino artist, and it has come to interpret how we view, okay, how we view our religion in the postmodern era. So again, there is a deeper meaning. There is a deeper issue that is being discussed in this piece of art. Although contemporary siya, it might not look like the classical paintings of Christ that we usually see in museums, pero there is a deeper meaning in it. Diba? Especially putting those words, I mean, those letters na OMG, right? Okay, so try to contemplate ano ba yung sinasabi ng art piece na to, and type in your reaction in our chat box. Okay, while waiting for your reaction, I'd like to say good afternoon and thank you, Ma'am Malu Ecleo Pamitan, watching from Nagilan District, SDO Isabela. Ma'am Rore Grace Bendillo, watching from San Matias National High School. Ma'am Lorena Vergara Evangelista, uh, Brianna Casero Evangelista, RDJES Grade 1 Yellow Bell. Good afternoon, Ma'am Gladys Santos Correa, Ma'am Diane Joy Dillon, and Ma'am Karine Cruz Tolentino, watching from SDO Bulacan Bunlo Elementary School. So, do you have an idea about this piece? What does it say? Diba? It's a fusion of our classic intake of religion with how we just simply use the word for our day-to-day expression like OMG. Okay? So again, there is a deeper meaning, not just superficial. Okay, there you go. Moving on. So this is a tech fusion art. So remember, one of the elements of contemporary art is technology. Okay, so this is art plus technology and a fusion of new technology and contemporary art. So it have now transcend from the normal canvas na ginagamit ng mga painters. If you are going to observe closely, yung art piece na yan ay projected, or I mean can be seen, can be observed from a TV. Okay? From a TV. There you go. So, bakit TV? Kasi yung mga artists, they convene together, okay, to make use of this, I will not say the brand, of these television sets as the canvas for their tech-based arts. So, one of those examples would be this one. Okay? So again, we therefore explore possibilities using new technologies that are now available for us to create digital masterpieces. So last time I also mentioned about digital poster. So one avenue for that would be television and the internet. Okay, so there you go. Let's move on to the next part in our lesson for this afternoon. And this is the highlight really of our lesson, to become up close and personal with contemporary art, okay, that we can only enjoy at the moment, um, behind behind our monitor due to the pandemic. But if one day magkakaroon kayo ng time, try to visit these art installations, to be exact, para you will have that grand personal experience, okay? Enjoying and viewing, feasting your eyes upon these masterpieces. So the first one, to be up close and personal with, okay, try also to analyze once you see them. Okay, we're going to deal with Filipino installation artists. Okay, why? Because this is one of the phenomenal kind of contemporary arts that even in our country has become phenomenal, for loss of word. Okay, so I chose this kasi all the other art forms we are already familiar with them, but this one, viral na siya several years ago. Okay, it takes a great deal of imagination, a great deal of work to be able to put up an art installation. So ano nga ba yung art installation? An art installation is a 3D visual artwork. So, kapag painting, that's a visual piece, but the difference for an art installation, I mean, its difference from art installation is that it's three-dimensional. Okay? Almost like the art pieces are movable, they're mobile, you can touch them, you can walk around them. There you go. And this one is often created for a specific place. Okay, and designed to change the perception of space. Remember earlier when I showed you payatas? That is an example of Filipino art installation. Okay, so our first art installation would be this one. Okay, as you can see, if at one look, at one glance, you will probably not pay too much attention to it because number one, it made use of two colors only, two striking colors to be exact. It's white and red. Number two, it's the concept, the message, not the message, but the concept, the depiction here is very usual for us, especially to us Filipinos. Kasi ito ay appreciation ng heritage ng artist sa kung ano yung kinalakihan niyang buhay as a Filipino. Alright? So, sino kaya ang may gawa? Sino kaya ang may gawa ng art installation na ito? Okay? So, this one is given to us by Rocky Cuna. Okay, so siya yung naka-black na polo dun sa picture. So si Rocky Cuna is known as the floral architect of the Philippines. His installation features Filipino culture. Kita-kita naman, di ba? So, nandyan yung pantakip ng pagkain na malaki nga lang, nandyan yung mga plato, nandyan yung mga baso, and yung classic na kaldero, yung classic na kettle na makikita natin sa isang typical na tahanan at kusina ng isang pamilyang Pilipino. Okay, so there you go. So this is an art installation from Rocky Cuna. Okay, so before I proceed, good afternoon po. I'm sorry, good afternoon daw po from grade 9 Aquamarine, Zaragoza, Nueva Ecija, Justin F. Lahom. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Good afternoon, Ma'am Teresa Basillas. Good afternoon, Ma'am Maria Crisanta Dolnuan. Watching from San Luis Elementary School, Diati, Nueva Vizcaya. And good afternoon, Ma'am Rubilin Cabardo Pastrano, watching from SDO Lapu-Lapu. Ma'am Jacqueline Gutierrez, watching from Pangasinan. Okay, thank you for joining our online tutorial for Philippine contemporary art forms. Moving on, our next art installation is this one. So this is actually a foreign one. This is what we call crochet art installation. The models are wearing crochet costumes in this example, but we have a local version. Okay, this is our local version. Crochet art installation in Cebu, done by Cebu Crochet Group at the outlets at Pueblo Verde in Basac, Lapu-Lapu City. So si Ma'am Rubilin from Lapu-Lapu, I hope na-experience mo na or nakita mo na itong crochet art installation na ito, no? Kasi it's part of the art in the fourth weekend fair in the said city. It is a tryst of all artists and their different forms of art, such as this crochet art installation. So it is, as you can see, the trees, okay, its trunks are decorated from the bottom up. Okay, kung hanggang saan nakakaabot yung ating crochet art. The trees are located at a mini park adjacent to the food shops and hugged by different pieces of colorful interlocking loops of yarn and thread. Kasi that is crochet, right? So there you go. So this is an example of street art taken to the next level. Okay, usually we just see yung mga murals like the one also in the picture, but this is crochet. Okay? So, bago mo mailagay yung crochet doon sa puno, kailangan gawin mo muna ito. Bago mo mabuo yung concept, and these are many artists. Okay? Bago mo buo yung concept, sobrang daming brainstorming dyan, di ba? So, this is also a free gallery na rin, di ba? A free museum. Okay, so habang naglalakad ka dun sa park, ayan, magandang selfie area. Ano sabi doon? Instagrammable. Diba? So this is an example of crochet art installation that we have here in our country. So hindi lang pala panghikaw, pangdamit, o pang-abubot na lagayan ang crochet art. Okay, pwede rin siyang art installation. Okay, so once again, good afternoon, Sir Jason Pabero, watching from Culion National High School Division of Palawan. Okay, from Karine Cruz Solentino, nice crochet art painting installation. I agree, ma'am. This is really one of a kind, a cut above the rest. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This now is from the artist Azzy O. Okay, she is a very famous crochet artist in the Philippines. At siya talaga yung nagdadala din ng bandera ng mga crochet artists. At meron na rin siyang mga iba't ibang art installations in the country using his crochet masterpieces. Okay? Now, as we study these different art installations, you may notice that it uses a really large space, like a literal space or spot. It can be a public space or a private one, like the one we saw earlier, yung payatas. It's just a huge room. Okay, but it doesn't mean that 100% of the area is covered by that art installation. Okay, so let me explain what we are going to do with this area if we are going to view them, okay, as guests in that art installation. What we have here is called positive and negative space in art. In the study of the elements and principles of art, we talked about space last week. So it's not just about the installation itself, okay, but the spaces are divided or are categorized into two. We have the positive and negative. So if we say it's positive space if it is the art itself. Kung maliit na structure man yon, kung maliit na sculpture or painting man yon, yun yung mismong positive space. Kung nasaan siya at siya mismo. Then negative space, these are the empty spaces that the artist has created between, around, and within the subjects. Let me explain this using another art installation, okay, done by Cristina Valdesco. This is called Tape. Okay, as you can see again, it made use of red and white. Very striking combination of colors, but with a perfect balance. Okay, so you will notice that the encircled ones with the broken lines, that is what we call negative space. But of course, in that installation, okay, hindi lang yan yung negative space. All the rest na walang art pieces, we call that as negative space. Okay, even the ones under the piano, the ones under the chair, we can call it negative space. Now, the one other space is the positive space. Ito yung merong mismong art pieces. Okay, like the three highlighted parts in this example. Even yung chair and the other one on beside the chair, okay, with a white sculpture on it, that is also positive space. So there you go. So another knowledge that we know whenever we walk into an art installation, meron pala tayong tinatawag na negative space and positive space. And it's very important to take note of that because yung negative space, that will be your area to walk on so that you can explore the art installation. Kasi yun yung magandang bagay sa art installation. You can explore it. Okay? I'm not against those who stand in front of a painting and admire its beauty, pero art installation really engages. Okay, they engage the viewers, the guests. Okay, they are inviting them. Kung ako yung pupunta doon, it is inviting me to explore. Okay, ano yung nandun sa loob. Okay, the possibilities of exploring a particular art installation are endless. All right. So before I move on again, good afternoon, Ma'am Allen Angeles, watching from Kidapawan City National High School, Kidapawan City Division, Region 12. Kay Ma'am Cristina Baldonado Barela II, good afternoon, watching from Doña Chudora Alonzo High School po. There you go. So this is Cristina Valdesco's tape, another art installation. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of our lesson. And for this part, let us try to remember what we learned, okay, along the way. So the first one would be about postmodernism. So even though we're talking about contemporary arts here in our country, it has come to the attention of historians and critics that the artists are using varied ways, okay, to express, to convey ideas and issues. And that has become postmodernism. And it is characterized, okay, by arts becoming more ambiguous and contradictory. Okay, next takeaway is that contemporary artists seem to be more interested in engaging viewers conceptually through ideas and issues. This is the very reason why it shows art installation in our up close and personal part. Kasi art installation art installation is a personal experience that you don't just use your eyes, your ears, you use all of your senses to be able to explore a particular art installation. Much like entering, for example, the Desert Museum. Okay, so that can be considered, diba, a very engaging art experience. All right. So the next takeaway is that art installation and installation artists in the country have been making waves in this field. Okay, not just in our country, but they are also joining and doing exhibits abroad. They are making names of their own in this field. Remember last week I featured a particular art installation which has become a tourist attraction in the city hall, okay, abroad. So, ito yung mga artists natin sa ngayon na kumbaga nagdadala ng ating pride. Okay, nagbibigay sa atin ng pride, ng honor in the field of art installation. And this is one avenue. Itong subject natin. This is one avenue, one platform where we can express to these artists our appreciation for what they are doing. All right. So before I give you the last takeaway, I'd like to say good afternoon to Ma'am Melissa Fernando. Thank you for being with us in our online tutorial. And the last takeaway for this lesson is the learning about positive and negative space. So we learned that positive space, okay, it is occupied by the art piece itself, or it is the art piece itself. And the negative space or spaces, these are the remaining spaces where there are no art pieces. Okay, so usually if I'm going to interpret the purpose of a negative space, it's actually your work around the art installation. Okay? It doesn't mean na art installation lang yung merong negative space. Even performance or performing arts, meron ding positive and negative space. All right? So that is it for our lesson, but we're not yet done. Of course, we have tasks to do, okay, in relation to our lesson for the day. Okay, our task number 1 is for you to do a collage of words. Okay, so be ready to type in our chat box, and I will be waiting for them. What are you going to type? Or what are you going to answer for this collage of words? This is the instruction. You're going to think of 8 words to describe art installation. Okay, normally you will write it on a piece of paper in eight different ways or styles and have it written scattered around on the piece of paper. But since we are in this modality, so I'm inviting you to type in your answers in our chat box. I'll be waiting for a few seconds so that we can share with each other, okay, what we think about art installation. How are we going to describe it nga ba? Okay, so if you haven't experienced it, try exploring it using Creative Commons or Google, and you will see for yourself that these are not your usual experience with art. All right. So this is something new. This is something fresh. Okay, if you are an art aficionado, okay, in particular. Okay, so paano natin di-describe ang mga art installation? You can choose an English or a Filipino or Tagalog word, okay? Gusto niyong mag-Espanyol, why not? Okay? As long as may explain natin for ourselves kung bakit yun ang nagamit nating description for the art installation. Alright? So, before I proceed to the next task, I'd like to say good afternoon, Ma'am Fetchy Ann. Okay, good afternoon, Ma'am Marisa Baclayon, watching from KCPES, Chidapawan City Division. And Ma'am Jacqueline Gutierrez, watching from Pangasinan. Okay, so thank you very much. So let's move on to task number 2. Answer me, because I have a question. Okay, so I have a question, and you can type in your answer if you want, or you can just telepathically send me your answer, and if I receive them, I hope my receiving mind would be able to do it, absorb it. This is my question: is it possible to combine 2 or more contemporary art elements and or principles? Why if yes, why not if no? Okay, do you have an answer for this? Okay, I hope you have an answer, because we have discussed this topic about art elements and principles. Now you're just going to, explore the possibility of combining one element with another element. Is that possible? What will be your answer? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right? So the answer from my end is yes. And this is my proof. Okay? What we have here is another art installation / performance. Okay? So Before I proceed, I'd like to say good afternoon to Ma'am Angelina W. Paligutan, watching from the province of Abra. Okay, so as far as Abra and Lapu-Lapu and Kidapawan cities. So this one, this art form, it is actually called Himala sa Buhangin. And it is an installation art by Leroy New. We have featured Leroy New in our class, online tutorial class last week. Okay, so tourists in this art form, in this art installation, they look at the installation at the sand dunes of Pawai during the Himala sa Buhangin Music and Arts Fest last May 10. The massive structure is that's last year. The massive structure is made entirely of bamboo and abaca rope and inspired by the ship that brought the statue of La Virgen Milagrosa to Ilocos Norte in the 17th century. So as you can see, there are fire dancers in the picture. Kasi nga may performance. So may art installation si Leroy New and then there's a performance at anong ginawa nila? They actually burned down. Okay? They actually burned, well not down because it's still up. They actually burned the art installation hanggang sa ang natira na lang ay yung skeletal framework nito. Okay, so all the abaca threads are gone. Okay, and this is part of the art and music festival. Okay, so there's fire dancing performance slash art installation. There you go, a combination of two elements in contemporary arts. Okay, so the burning served as a bonfire during the event, which is part of the provincial fiesta held in honor of La Virgen Milagrosa. Okay, so it is actually the remaining parts of Himala sa Buhangin is kept intact for tourists to use as a lookout point for the sand dune. So this is in Hawaii, Ilocos Norte. Okay, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed viewing all these art installations and art pieces coming from the different regions of the country. Now let's come to the quote unquote part of our online tutorial. As you know, I always leave you with with words to remember by coming from different people. This time around, what I have for you is Mr. Tim Burton. So kilala si Tim Burton sa kanyang mga, let's say, grotesque, gothic-based characters in films. Kagaya ni Sweeney Todd, Willy Wonka, so Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, okay, Edward Scissorhands, yung hawak niya dyan, si Frankenweenie, okay, at saka yung si Skellington sa Nightmare Before Christmas. Kilala siya sa mga ganong klaseng character. So, anong sinabi niya about arts? It's good as an artist to always remember to see things in a new, weird way. Okay? That's Mr. Tim Burton for you. So, if you have a weird art piece, it doesn't matter. It still makes you an artist. Okay, there you go. And class, that ends our tutorial for this afternoon. Once again, I am Tutor Mary Grace from Quezon Science High School, SDO, Quezon Province. Thank you very much to all those who are with me in our online tutorial via ETUlay. Good afternoon and goodbye. Tomorrow, please watch out for our Wednesday morning habit. Thank you. Okay, so before I leave the platform, I'd like to make pahabol, shout out sa mga tao in our chat box. Thank you, Ashley Ferrer, for the congratulatory remarks. Ma'am Wendy May Asibo Andaya, good afternoon, watching from Negros Oriental Division. And then Sir Maestro PJ Pulya, thank you so much. Thank you also for enjoying this online tutorial class with me for CPAR or Contemporary Philippine Arts from the Regions. Okay, there you go. That ends our class for today. Hello? Sir directors, are we done? Okay, so while waiting for the others, so I'd like to invite everyone to watch our next series of online ETUlay online tutors. Okay, once again, let me read some messages in our chat box. Good afternoon, Ma'am Vanessa Valenova Balasato. Again, thank you also, ma'am. To Ma'am Yuli Ortega Mama, good afternoon, watching from Cebu City. Good good afternoon, Ma'am Kylie Espinosa from Burot Integrated School, Grade 7, Zaide, Tarlac City, watching. Yes, sure, Ma'am Vanessa Valenova Balasoto. I can I can do that. It's actually in this will be uploaded in DepEd Commons. You can download the PowerPoint presentation from there. Okay, thank you, Sir Ariel, for the warm message. Okay, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, the students from Quezon Science High School. Okay, thank you to our school head, Dr. Carla Marie Di Carandang, for the support. Thank you very much, everyone. So I hope you learned something again from our session for contemporary Philippine arts from the regions.